Hello everyone, and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking at Vaclav Rousek, a Czechoslovakian people trafficker who murdered the people that he was trafficking from the Iron Curtain to freedom. Rousek was born on the 4th of September 1926 in Zajac, a village in the South Bohemian region in the modern-day Czech Republic. Today, the village has a population of 396 people. One of 4 male children, his father was the principal of a primary school, and his mother was a housewife. While all 3 of Rousek's brothers completed high school, with one becoming an architect and the other 2 becoming doctors, Rousek was a career burglar as a child, including robbing things at home, and dropped out of high school, enrolling in fishing school, where he was expelled for stealing food stamps and spent 6 months in jail. Following his release, he trained as a tailor, which he practiced until 1948. While there, he stole money, cloth, cigarettes, a typewriter, and chandelier from his fellow colleagues. While working as a tailor, Rousek also worked as an appraiser for the National Reconstruction Fund. The National Reconstruction Fund was a state fund of Czechoslovakia that operated between 1945 and 1969. Following the confiscation of the property and belongings of the enemies of the state, the National Reconstruction Fund was entrusted with the interim administration and division of these properties. While working for the National Reconstruction Fund, Rousek moved to the Czechoslovakian-German border, where he most prominently lived in Vimperk, a small historical town of 7,400 people, which was on the border between Czechoslovakia and Germany. Commencing in 1947, Rousek began committing robberies, including robbing strangers, acquaintances, and colleagues from the workshop where he worked. Having been caught with a false guerrilla ID and an illegally held weapon, Rousek was briefly detained. However, for the most part, he was not charged for his robberies. In 1948, Rousek commenced his compulsory 2-year military service in the Czechoslovak army. Initially stationed in Klášterec nad Orlicí in the Orlické Mountains, he was then transferred to České Budějovice in 1949. While in České Budějovice, Rousek undertook numerous thefts, including stealing army leather soles that he sold to shoemakers. Instead of being punished, Rousek was assigned to another unit. In January 1950, a now married Rousek was transferred to Košice, which is the second biggest city in modern-day Slovakia. While there, he broke into the apartment of his friend and stole a .25 ACP semi-rimmed pistol and 70 kilograms of shoe leather. Unlike his previous robberies, Rousek decided to sell the goods directly. He then visited shoemaker Jan Sukovsky, a shoemaker in Košice, and proposed to sell the 70 kilograms of stolen leather to Sukovsky. Visiting Sukovsky at his workshop, Rousek erroneously mentioned that he was from České Budějovice. Sukovsky immediately asked Rousek how well he knew the Bohemian Forest, a low-range mountain range forest of 100 kilometers connecting the Czech Republic to Austria and Bavaria in Germany. Sukovsky was looking to transport his Hungarian friends Stegan, Majancik and Alexandar Kandrac to Germany. Following the Soviet liberation of Czechoslovakia in 1945, President Edvard Beneš, who was the leader of the Czech National Social Party, announced his unconditional support for Joseph Stalin's Soviet foreign policy and the Beneš Decree, but he was not a Soviet puppet, with several domestic reforms implemented by other Eastern European countries not implemented in Czechoslovakia. In the 1946 elections, one of the only free elections held in the history of the Soviet bloc, the Communist Party reigned victorious in Czechoslovakia, with 114 of 400 seats won. However, the Soviet Union was disappointed with the Czechoslovakian government's failure To eliminate what was seen as the bourgeoisie influence in the army, expropriate industrialists and large landowners, as well as eliminate parties outside of the National Front. On the 25th of February 1948, following a 4-day coup d'etat, fearful of a civil war and Soviet intervention, Beves capitulated. The country became a Soviet puppet, with the communists seizing power. The foreign minister, Jan Masaryk, the only prominent minister who wasn't a communist, was found dead on the 10th of March 1948. Klement Gottwald became acting president on the 7th of June 1948 of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia before being formally appointed on the 14th of June 1948. Amidst the uncertainty, up to 250,000 Czechs and Slovaks emigrated from their native Czechoslovakia to Western Germany, as well as Austria. Ever the conman and liar, Rousek said that he had overseen the transportation of 20 people into Germany. Rousek also told Majancik that he had a cousin living in Bavaria and asked Majancik and Kandrac for 20,000 Czech kronas that he would send to his cousin to take care of the required documentation as well as relocation costs. Initially, Rousek planned to take Majancik and Kandrac into the Bohemian forest and rob them at gunpoint. However, he quickly realized that the pair would report him for people smuggling and that he could be detained, and therefore he decided to kill them, asking another soldier to buy an axe as a pistol would have been too loud and provoked attention. Rousek barely communicated with Majancik and Kandrac, who only spoke Hungarian. With Rousek having obtained a military pass of leave, on the 30th of June 1950 the trio set off from Kosice to Vimperk, and on the 1st of July 1950 at around 10 p.m. they set off for the Bohemian forest with the aim of arriving into Frjung, a small German city in Lower Bavaria on the border with Czechoslovakia. Rousek told Majancik and Kandrac that he would transport them separately for security reasons, first taking Majancik into the Bohemian forest. Deep into the Bohemian forest, Majancik bent down due to noise of an unknown origin and was struck in the head by Rousek with his axe. He continued to attack his neck and chest. 1 hour later, Rousek returned for Kandrac, who he led 150 paces from Majancik's corpse and proceeded to beat him 6 times with his axe. Rousek then stripped Kandrac and Majancik's decapitated bodies, throwing their briefcase, clothes, and the axe that he had used as a murder weapon into a creek. Rousek then tried to wash his clothes, which were stained with blood, but he was unable to remove all of the blood. He then realized that he had lost his military belt and use of a belt of one of his victims. Rousek then exited the forest, where he met a military officer who alerted him to his non-regulatory belt and red spots on his clothing. He explained that the stains were from jam and showed his military pass to the officer, who let him go without suspicion. Rousek then bought a train ticket to Kosice and spent the next few days with his wife visiting relatives. He informed Sukovsky that Kandrac and Majancik had made it to Bavaria and were protected by his cousin. The first body was found by a woman returning from worship on the 2nd of July 1950, who found the body near the creek, and then other witnesses found the second corpse and Rousek's military belt. Kandrac and Majancik's briefcase and clothes were found soaked in blood from the stream. With American patches on the clothes and the location of the body, the public security of Czechoslovakia, the police force of Czechoslovakia, believed that both victims were members of the United States Army Counterintelligence Corps. The United States Army Counterintelligence Corps was an early Cold War intelligence agency within the United States Army, consisting of highly trained special agents. It was eventually taken over by the United States Army Intelligence Corps in 1961, before being amalgamated into the United States Intelligence Agency in 1967. The Counterintelligence Corps functions are now performed by the United States Army Counterintelligence. Initially believed to have been a politically motivated murder, investigators took an interest in the Czechoslovakian military belt, and soldiers were checked in nearby military camps. The officer at Wimberg train station responded immediately, noting that he remembered Rousek but could not remember his name. This was corroborated by passengers at the station, who noted that the same soldier was seen standing in line for tickets and bought a ticket to Košice. Police quickly linked this to Rousek. Once in custody, Rousek confessed and informed police of the names of Majancik and Kandrac, which at the time were unknown. He showed absolutely no remorse. Taken to Prague, the capital of the modern-day Czech Republic, Rousek insisted that the lives of Majancik and Kandrac did not matter, as they were Hungarian and did not care about life in Czechoslovakia. Found guilty of high treason and double murder on the 24th of May 1951, Rousek was executed on the 22nd of August 1951. Controversially, due to the charge of high treason, Rousek's name was included in Daplike Cemetery, a large cubist-style cemetery with 20,000 registered graves, including the victims of the Prague Uprising and Czech victims of the Nazi regime during the Second World War, as well as, in the northern part of the cemetery, individuals who were executed or tortured under the communist regime of Czechoslovakia during the 1950s. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon to inform you when new videos come out. It helps more than you know, and your support is truly appreciated. You'll also be seeing 2 other videos for you to check out. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day.